非常に中島選手ね、気合が入ってて、精神集中うまくできてたと思うんですね。で、コンスタントに昨日、ショートも速かったし、こういう非常に雨だ、あるいはその途中赤旗だという条件にもかかわらずですね、うまくタイムまとめてくれたと思いますよ。はい、
これ今宮さん、1000分の1秒のオリベッティ論陣で測っても同じっていう、こういうケースはどうするんですか。
ですからね、先にそのタイムを出したのはね、ネルソン・ピケですので。でも本当に全く同じ速さだったということでね、ピケに勝つということをね、中島言ってたんですが、タイムは全くイコールですからね。
そうですね、
順番つけられると5位と6位ということになりますが、この3列目はすごいですよ。
さあそろそろチェッカーが用意されますが、もう残り30秒。セナも降りています。セナも降りました。1分41秒853。やっぱり41秒台、今宮さん出ましたね。
出ましたね。昨年が1分40秒042、ゲーハート・ベルガーのポールポジションでしたが、その40秒台というのはね、やはりターボエンジン、加給圧4バールから 2.5 バールに制限されまして、パワーがそうですね 40% ぐらい下がっている今年の F1 マシンでもね、それが1秒ちょっとの差しかないということね、やはりいかにコーナーが速いか、そしてこの技術の進歩ですね、 F1 マシンがいかに速くなっているかということです。
チェッカーが用意されています。これがプロスト。このチェッカーを受ける前でしたら、このコントロールラインを通過してまだそのタイムは生きるわけですよね。プロストのフォワードをやらしか
ですね、これ何秒か
縁石に乗り上げて最後の試験員ですが、これがプロストの最後のタイムになるわけですね。
そうです、最後のタイムです。
42秒177。1分42秒177。途中
後のブラジルグランプリになります。マシンはいよいよ出てきたマクラーレンの MP47A に変わっています。予選3位。さっき中央のボタンを押したのはニュートラルボタンです。ここでグリッドマーカーの白いペイントを嫌って位置決めしてマシンを慎重に止めました。もう一回ニュートラル確認ですね。
セナもこう今シートベルトをいじってますけれど、彼はうるさいですよね、シートベルトの締め方に関しては。
そうですよね。ホイールスピンがはっきり分かりますね。でシューマッハと並んで入っていったんですけれども、ここでセナが踏ん張ります。
でもセナはこの S ドセナを抜けた時に大きくはらんだだけにウィリアムズに離されましたね。
そうですね、このステードだけでね。マンゼルが伺いますが、ここはパトレート先行ですね。
そういうふうに見てるとウィリアムズはこのシフトダウン時のシフトショックというのが大きいですよね。
まだこの92年の開幕したばかりの段階、ブラジルグランプリ時点ではそんな感じがしますよね。一方のセナですけれども、激しい運動をしていますね、コックピットね。
いますね。さあ最終コーナー手前なんですけど、今ボタンを押しましたけれど、これが噂のプログラムシフトだったんですね。
トップから3速1回押すだけでシフトダウンできるという装置です。
11th Mark Blundell in the second Ligier. Derek Warwick is 12th in the second footwork. And Ayrton Senna, that we are riding with, is now on his 43rd lap, coming up to the right-hander at Flinders Bend, past the packed house veranda into the left-hander at East Terrace Bend, round the right-hander again at Flinders into East Terrace, underneath the bridge into the left-hander at Market's Turn. There's the Markets in front, which are being redeveloped with the old facade. Stag Turn, the right-hander, leads into Jones Straight, and this is 150 miles an hour to Brewery Bend, slow down to about 95, up into 6th gear, build up to about 300k, and that's about 180 miles an hour. Hard on the brakes again from 6th to 2nd for racetrack hairpin. Senna leads. And all the corporate hospitality boxes on the left, having a good time. The only pity is that the sun is not shining as much as we've seen in Australia in the past, but on the other hand, it isn't wet.
Well, exactly, Mary. I was just about to say, but hang on, at least it's not raining.
Right.
Now they're back. This is Mika Häkkinen on board. Great sound from that Peugeot V10. Just listen. See how tight that is? There's the wall on the right side.
Driver substitutions. Andrea De Cesaris fans out there will be glad to know De Cesaris has signed a deal to drive the Sauber Mercedes, replacing Carl Wendlinger for the second half of the season. Or actually more than that. He will begin in 2 weeks' time in Canada. Trying to overhaul young Rubens Barrichello in the Jordan Hart.
Barrichello is 7th and Martin Brundle is in 8th place. Brundle had difficulty this weekend. He said he's finding it difficult to get the right balance between aggression and balance. See that? Just missed that.
The events at Imola, and it was thought that Max Mosley was making a bit of a preemptive strike on behalf of Formula One to provide ammunition to the opponents of that movement within the Italian government. change gear in his Ford. They're probably wondering, Mika, why can't you catch this guy?
and he'll know. I mean, everybody down the pit lane here will hear that Schumacher cannot change gear and will have passed that information onto their respective drivers. But it will be a puzzle for Häkkinen to know why he hasn't lapped them already.
For Sunday, as he can.
Mika Häkkinen on circuit. Now then, can we see any improvement from the Finn? Third fastest so far, 0.6 of a second. Slower than Michael Schumacher, and a little less than that, slower than Jean Alesi. And we've seen already his confidence immediately. As soon as he stepped into the car this weekend, he's been looking fast. And now we get a chance to see whether he can go even faster.
And I must say, up through the sequence of corners looks very, very good indeed. And I think Mika Häkkinen, when he sat back in Monte Carlo watching the Pacific Grand Prix, really must have felt so frustrated. But when you get appendicitis, not a lot you can do.
Again, through that very quick, fast first part, rather, of the Degner curve, where we saw Berger run wide. And look at that, he's up on the first split.
I have to say, I'm not too surprised, because Häkkinen looked very, very good indeed through that sequence of S-bends, through the Dunlop curve, through the Degner, into Happen Bend, now making his way through this long, up, down, up, right-hand sequence into the Spoon curve. So can he maintain that advantage we've seen Michael Schumacher elevate himself onto pole position with? So this is where horsepower and grunt and simply aerodynamic drag begin to play their role. 1 minute 19.050. Schumacher's 0.2, just in that short sequence that's gone away. But it's enough, I would suggest, to see Mika Häkkinen share that front row with Michael Schumacher.
Wasn't much backing off of that left-hander there, maybe just a fraction, but it was pretty committed from Mika Häkkinen as he now comes around. Let's see if there's any improvement in his time. A 38 or 39.859 was his previous best. He does improve it slightly, but he remains in third place, just over a 1/10 of a second slower than Jean Alesi. But a superb effort, and that revised specification Mercedes engine certainly seems to be doing the business.
I think it's a revised Mika Häkkinen, as I do believe that
9.8. Quite an impressive piece of avoidance, really, between those posts for Schumacher. It looked easier on the slow motion, but don't forget he's travelling pretty fast coming into that chicane.
You certainly are. And another man, again, who's certainly a great performance, Jos Verstappen, in the footwork hard. He's, in fact, between Häkkinen, I beg your pardon, Schumacher and Coulthard in 5th place. Jos Verstappen, 1 minute 21.985.
On board with Mika Häkkinen now, heading down. Let's see if he locks up that right front. No, this time he doesn't smoke the tyre into the Dunlop hairpin. We see that very, very often during the days of practice and qualifying that we've seen so far. His teammate, by the way, David Coulthard, is in 6th position, just ahead of Frentzen, Berger, Panis and Barrichello.
So the gap between Mika Häkkinen and Jean Alesi more or less remained the same. These two have been running around in each other's company for the last 2 or 3 laps, and in effect, for Alesi it's rather a waste, because when you get close to another car you get distraction as well as disturbance. And there you see Mika Häkkinen just under 0.2 slower than Damon Hill, and that is, well, let's say a few thousandths of a second slower than the actual positions in the times. So the last lap, I would suggest, for Häkkinen and for Alesi, we're just now, well, maybe they get to squeeze another 1 minute 35 seconds remaining, so they might just sneak round and get one final lap in.